My name is Toby Michelina. I'm from a small town in the state of Wyoming from the United States. And my real interest and my focus of research is looking at the impacts of pollution on water systems, trying to understand how pollutants impact the ecosystem. I think the Wenritong is a fascinating river. It's really the heart of the city. It was a transportation system. It's the way people communicated. Ever since I moved to Wenzhou about 5 years ago, I've been just intrigued by the river and the role that it plays within the city itself. And looking at it and trying to understand the river and how it relates to people, how the ecosystem itself is important to the city, and understand what we can do to help improve the river. The Wenritong is really the core of the city. The river itself is constructed. It's a combination of 3 different rivers that were originally free-flowing. But the city itself and all the villages built up around the river, it was the heart. I just find it fascinating, and I want to continue to do what I can to improve it so that everybody within the Wenzhou area can take advantage of the river, and the community can continue to grow up around the river and respect it and use it. I've been working on this now for about 3.5. My work is specific to looking at the pollutants that are currently there and what kind of impact they have on the system. And we're looking at this point primarily at particulate matter, organic matter, and bacteria, and then understand how those impact all the organisms in the water. As we understand that, to start to develop techniques that we can help prevent that pollution or remove that pollution. I'm working now with another biology faculty member on the bacteria. I'm starting to work with one of our design faculty on designing filters, the containers for filters, so that we can have them be very efficient and effective. And of course, bringing students into the research. It's a long process. It's not going to happen quickly, but each step is important. And if we can understand it and then start to make improvements to it over time, the river will really begin to flourish. So my goal is to continue the process that's been started to improve the water quality of the river. I found this place originally by riding my bicycle. I thought this was a very beautiful area. As part of my project, we wanted an area that we could use that was cleaner to compare, and agricultural. So this area has agriculture, it's undeveloped, and you can see the water here is a little bit clearer than it is when you're downtown. A really important part of the river, the transportation and the fishing, back and forth, the activity on the river is still heavily used. Everything moved along the river. And I'd heard stories as I was preparing to come to Wenzhou. I'd hear stories about the water and the smell. And I get here, I didn't find that, and I started to look more closely at that. The water has been continually being improved. The municipal government is taking a number of steps to improve the river. So this is getting better. That's what we need to see, that kind of improvement. You see the birds flying around, the river's filled with fish. It's just a peaceful place. I love it out here. Nantong River is very different than the rural parts. That's one of the really nice things about the river, is that how it can kind of tie together different parts of the city. You have a lot of museums there, around there, the galleries, the park itself, and it's all connected through the river. And you see the community out with Tai Chi or dancing or just walking along the river or running. You know, that's a difficult balance to achieve. And that's what we want. That's what's fun to see. People using the river for recreation, just for fun. The cleaner we get it, the more people will use it that way. And the closer they get to it, the more connection they have with it. And the more connection they have with it, the more they're willing to protect it. They're using plants as a way to help keep the water in the lake clean. So it's nice to see that. From a cultural standpoint, it's a really important area for the city, as showing Wenzhou as a really vibrant urban environment. So it gives you a sense that there's things happening here, and it's a good community. It struck me that how closely people were tied to it, how they were using it on a daily basis. To me, it's very beautiful, and it can be even more beautiful. So I will continue to work on it as long as I'm here. It's always moving, it's always changing. We have to look for small changes, and we want to make sure we're going in the right direction. Those things can be done if we just decide that we want to do it, and we have the community that supports doing that. It's not easy, and it's going to take time, but there's without question that we can make the Wenritang much cleaner than what it is today. And if we can continue to improve it and continue to clean it, the city itself will continue to grow and continue to become more vibrant.